I'm CRollur.
And I'm Willy McD.
And we have back with us
Nikki.
You're listening to CRollur and Willy, a nerdy podcast for elder millennials.
I've been thinking about music that we grew up with a lot and how it's affected me. And one of the facts is that, like, as you get older, you listen to less music, but I found that I tend to listen to more music than some people do. And I found this might be part of my family thing, because even my mom does. Because she was doing a tour in, like a boat tour on the lake in Cleveland. And apparently the Bare Naked Ladies had been doing a show somewhere near the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm not sure quite where it was at, but they were doing a tour, and my mom was telling me about how there were so many people. And I'm like, I can't imagine there was that many people. I can't think that people would still be listening to them.
I was never a fan of them.
I mean,
can I ask you a question? Like, when was that? Like, was it the 90's or was it 2000s when she was on that Lake Erie?
This was just earlier this year.
Oh, no shit. Okay. I thought it was like back then she was on a...
No.
Okay.
This was actually earlier this year, but she was telling me, and she's like, yeah, I recognized a couple of their songs. And what shocked me is I only know one song. So my mom knows the Bare Naked Ladies better than I do. Because the only one I know by them is 1 Week.
Yeah.
And she seems to know other songs by them.
I feel like that was like... Oh, what was that?
That was the only song I knew of theirs.
I mean, it was a one-hit wonder. That's why I thought.
Well, apparently my mom listened to more of their music than I did. But then again, this isn't surprising. This is the same woman that listened to Alanis Morissette. And, like, I got into Avril Lavigne, but my mom was the one that owned all the CDs in the house from Avril Lavigne. Like, she actually was into some of the music I was into, probably more than I was.
Well, I don't think a lot of people appreciate Avril Lavigne's voice when she's singing. She's actually a really good singer, and her music is really, really good. She had many music videos on a lot of her songs, and I just feel like MTV took a shit around that time, so a lot of people wasn't actually, knowing who she was.
I don't know. I thought a lot of people knew who she was. She was top charts, though.
I mean, I'm saying the people that didn't know who she was, because they're like...
Well, then she never really came out with any, or like, she just stopped coming out with stuff. So.
Yeah, there's a funny conspiracy story about her. They said that she died and someone replaced her.
She actually got Lyme disease, didn't she?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure she got Lyme disease.
I don't know if that's what it is. All I know is it seems like she fell off the radar, came back, and when she came back, people think it was like she was a different person entirely. I mean, she went from this skater girl look to this platinum blonde super.
See, that's what I was saying. That's what the conspiracy was. They just found a lookalike of what Avril Lavigne and replaced her, but I really don't believe it.
I can't imagine that it would be that simple. Somebody taking your place. I mean, it's possible, but I can't imagine that. But either way, I think it's funny because even I'm finding that I enjoy less and less music from nowadays. But it's not like it's not like I'm sitting here going, oh, nowadays music sucks, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, right. I enjoy some good music. I just don't seem to enjoy as much of it as I did before. So it's like I follow partially the pattern my mom set down, where she'll listen to music from our time, and she even listens to some still today. But I'm not fully into it like I was when I was like a teen.
Well, I didn't know about any of this new music until we started having radio day at work, and like The Weeknd started playing, and I'm like, I don't know who these guys are. I'm like, but I like it.
Weeknd's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't wasn't listening to newer music.
Well, so my question here though is what music have you guys listened to?
90's, 2000s.
Yeah, when you were growing up, whatever that is.
I mean, growing up, we always listened to country in my parents' car. And then, like, pop music, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
Were you heartbroken when NSYNC broke up?
I wasn't really an NSYNC fan. I was more a Backstreet Boys.
It's weird because I'm more of an NSYNC fan. But I also think that has to do with, and I think this is a different topic entirely, but I think it had to do with just the fact that liking the Backstreet Boys back in the day was considered not cool for men.
But it was cool for you to like NSYNC?
I felt like it was less of a problem. I feel like it was less of a problem. Like there was a
I feel like-
stigma around Backstreet Boys that wasn't necessarily there.
I
around
don't
NSYNC.
know. About
So if you're
that.
wearing an Instinct shirt, you walk up to a bunch of boys with
But
Backstreet Boys shirts.
nowadays, people, it doesn't seem to matter at all whether you liked one or the other or both. It doesn't seem to matter. And I don't think it really ever did matter. It was just this public perception. That,
I think it only mattered to you. Like I just either way, if you were a guy, you said that you liked NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, you were gonna get made fun of.
yeah, I just feel like one was worse than the other, and I don't
So
know,
if you're
I
an
just-
Instinct fan, you're gonna get beat up in the playground, right?
No, Backstreet Boy, you're gonna get.
Oh,
beat up.
Backstreet Boys. Okay,
Backstreet
I had it backwards.
Huh? What
yeah.
about like 98 Degrees?
I've really never listened to them
Were you allowed to listen to girl bands like Spice Girls?
Oh,
because I did. I just
best movie
never
ever.
let it.
I never watched it.
It was a good movie.
Wasn't.
It was very comical.
But like those, I feel like what you listen to actually probably has an influence on what you listen to today.
I mean, I still like mostly older music. I don't like any I don't like a lot of stuff that comes out nowadays. I rather listen to like older stuff, older country, older pop, all that.
And what older stuff did you like though? Like, give examples? Could you?
Like how old? Like 80s, 70s, 60s? Like Merle
Like I
Haggard.
like classic rock, like
AC/DC, which I don't really care for
you
them.
don't like AC/DC,
No.
but I don't mind them. I like them.
See, my dad listened to classic rock. That was he listened to like Journey and AC/DC. Like AC/DC was big in my family. He listened to a lot of those bands, and I ended up growing up listening to them too. So I think that's why I'm into more rock than like other things. Is because that's where I grew up and stuff.
I like the fact that you mentioned country because I do like older country. Like I like Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, like old country stuff.
well,
but-
country now really isn't country
no.
music. It's pretty much pop.
See, I also like a lot of music with fiddles in them too. I think it sounds cool. Like the Charles Daly.
Bluegrass.
I like bluegrass. It's like death metal with no distortion on the guitar. It's fast paced.
Yeah, I don't know much bluegrass. No, I know you. I've heard when you were playing stuff on the radio, you listen to Prince.
I had Prince on there, Michael Jackson.
You probably got some Elvis Presley in there.
I have Elvis on there. Credence, Clearwater. What is it? Creedence.
I think something was brought up earlier, and I think it's an interesting question. Prince versus Michael Jackson. I don't know who brought that up.
Yeah, that was me.
You asked who was better. I'm gonna say Michael Jackson.
No, I think it was Willard.
Yeah, it was me.
But you said who?
I'm gonna say Michael Jackson. I feel like he was more popular. They talked about him more, whereas like Michael Jackson was kind of like always in the spotlight.
Yeah, that's
Whereas Prince wasn't really in it that much. Like when he married Carmen. Did he marry Carmen Electra? Is that Prince?
true. I don't know much about Prince. I just listen to his music.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like I know more Michael Jackson songs compared to what I do Prince.
But the
They were
ones
both
that
good though.
the Prince songs you do know, you think he was a better singer than what Michael Jackson was, or you think Michael Jackson was the better singer?
Probably Michael Jackson.
Think so?
Yes.
Well, then again, Michael Jackson did have better dance moves too, so that probably does help out.
Yeah,
I
Did
mean,
you
Prince
know-
had some pretty good dance moves though.
Yeah, but I think Michael Jackson was better.
There's
than him.
one move that there's actually a patent for his massive lean, Michael Jackson's lean. Did you know how it's done?
No.
He actually had specially made shoes, and there were like nails in the boards that he would actually hook his shoes into these nails, and he would lean and his shoes would stay in place.
How many times do you think that he fell trying to learn those?
Yeah.
It's probably a lot. I mean, it takes even with that trick, you still have to have hella muscles to pull yourself back up from that.
So,
right, 'cause he would stay down for,
so I could become a great dancer if I had Heelys.
you wouldn't. I don't think
Heelys
you dance.
have wheels. I would screw. That'd make you fall even worse.
Start doing moonwalk with Heelys, huh?
But I feel like that's cheating.
I still feel like you will fall.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you're not the most coordinated person.
No.
But I will buy you some to watch you do this.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
would
do that
love
on
to see it.
TikTok.
What other pop things did you grow up with? Like music, movies, or other things?
Well, when I was growing up, I was big into like Metallica, Megadeth, but I wasn't like into pop till like the 2000s, like with the Backstreet Boys, because I think from the Backstreet Boys from the 90's to 2000s, they were the only boy band that took that large step and actually got better and greater than what the other boy bands did. Like NSYNC, they just, went away. 98 Degrees went away, and then all you had was Backstreet Boys. Like, look at their album. Was it Millennium?
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of their best albums.
I mean, they still make music now, but New Kids on the Block kind of did that.
Yeah, they did.
Were popular late 80s,
Yeah,
early
late
90s or whatever. And they took a break, but then they started making music again. I really haven't listened to their new music, but
Didn't Backstreet Boys and NSYNC get back together for a tour for a little while?
it was New Kids on the Block and the Backstreet Boys did
Yeah.
a tour
Was
together.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think NSYNC.
Justin
was in there.
Timberlake kind of went on his own, and
Well, he was the star of NSYNC.
right.
I knew
And
there was a new tour, but I didn't.
No.
I guess I misheard who was on the tour.
they did another tour too, where it was Nelly, Backstreet Boys, I think like Shawnee or something, like people from like the early 2000s.
It's funny you said that you're bigger in NSYNC. Can you name all the singers in NSYNC?
No,
Yes.
probably not.
I can name
can
every
name
Backstreet Boy, every Backstreet Boy in the band.
Who?
You got AJ. You got I think his name was Lance. Then you had
Just because.
no,
just
not
because-
Lance.
you're
Lance.
wrong.
Lance.
Just-
Howie.
Okay.
Just because I like
AJ, Howie, Nick Carter, Brian, and my favorite Kevin.
Yeah, but just because I like the music doesn't mean I'm gonna know every member of the band.
I feel like you probably do. You just don't want to.
Well, that's what failed about NSYNC because everyone knew Justin. No one cared about Lance. No one cared about
They knew JC.
JC. That I forgot about him.
JC and Justin were the lead singers. Joey, he was nobody. Like
Yeah.
And Lance was nobody, and then that Chris, like
Didn't he go on to become like a TV personality though?
who Joey?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, he was actually pretty good.
but
on
like
it.
okay, so where's Chris and Lance Bass and Zev,
I don't know his last name.
whatever his last name is, and then like JC, you don't hear anything from them.
Well, they said that Lance was like the cheap version of Justin, so they said that Lance was more like the untalented version of Justin. Then
Like Backstreet Boys, you hear all of them sing.
yeah,
So like they've done songs. Backstreet Boys did songs where you heard all their voices. I couldn't tell you in NSYNC what anybody other than JC and Justin sounded like.
right. And look at 98 Degrees. Like, do you know all three singers besides,
There's four.
There's four of them?
There's four.
I thought there was three of them.
There's four.
Well, name all four.
Nick, Drew, Jeff, and I think Justin.
So you do know all of them. So
I believe so. I liked some of their songs.
I don't know. I don't know anything about 98 Degrees.
They weren't as popular. I believe they only had like
I remember, like, I used to watch a lot of Disney back in the 90's, too. There was this group called Steps, but all they did was do ABBA remakes.
That's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, they did Dancing Queen. They did Mamma Mia. And I guess their concert was, like, just basically like watching an ABBA concert, but with younger kids, teenagers.
I mean, there are bands out there that do covers of other bands, but I didn't think that any of them were associated with Disney.
Yeah, like actually they had Disney had Backstreet Boys on there, a couple of their concerts.
well,
Well,
you
yeah,
had
but they're not like fully associated with Disney.
before these people became like Backstreet Boys, or I don't know if it was Backstreet Boys, but I know like Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears were part of that
The Mickey Mouse Club.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Mickey Mouse Club, and Christina Aguilera, forgot about her. She was part of it too.
Yeah, a lot of them were.
Ryan Gosling was part of it too.
Who's that?
Ryan Gosling,
Who's that?
Don't
The
know.
Notebook. What
Oh
else?
yeah, he was. I want to talk about like the 2000s because we're going mainly in like the 90's.
Yeah.
So my thing was like in the 90's, I feel like music actually got better in the early 2000s with the
I don't know about better. I feel like they pushed out a lot more stuff.
No, it's because he updated the equipment during recording, so things sounded better when released.
I don't know if that's necessarily true because I feel like a lot of the older stuff still sounds pretty good. I feel like there's an evolutionary change, but I don't think it actually. I don't know if you can say better. It depends on what you consider better. A lot of people would say that it got worse.
Well, those are the old timers that grew up in the 90s. They're like, we don't like this new change. You ever heard this group called Toy Box, Aqua?
Aqua, I know.
Aqua.
Yeah.
What song did they?
They did Cartoon Heroes. Toy Box, they did like songs like Tarzan and Jane, I think it was. And
Is that like?
it's like the little DJ style, pop kind of stuff.
I don't know. I know, like in 2000s, early 2000s, you had CRollur, Nelly.
It was definitely a shift towards rap at that point.
Right.
Eminem.
Madonna tried to make a comeback in the 2000s.
So Madonna's on TikTok, and she just kind of makes these weird videos, like trying to. I never liked her. I never.
You never liked Madonna?
No, I never really cared for any of her songs. I never liked her, especially when she came back in like the 2000s or whatever. No.
You didn't like Material Girl?
No, I mean, they were all right, but I wouldn't choose to listen to it. I don't put her on my playlist.
I mean, I don't either.
I can't say I have her on my playlist either, but I do know some songs. Material Girl being one of them, but I don't know. I don't think I never thought she was that bad. I do feel like she's trying to stay relevant when it's past her time.
Well, yeah, like remember that music award show where she like kissed Britney Spears?
Yeah, I remember.
Tried to make herself like popular again.
That I feel like that was definitely a stunt.
Well, her and Justin Timberlake made a music video together, and I think she was that was a stunt too.
And it was kind of like the same thing with Janet Jackson. They did the Super Bowl, and he pulled her thing out, and her boob was all exposed. Remember that?
Yeah, that was all
wardrobe malfunction that we cannot tell for sure whether or not it was a malfunction or on purpose.
It was on purpose.
But then again, I got out of my truck, my wallet got stuck to my pant pocket and ripped a giant hole, so that's a wardrobe malfunction right there.
Yeah, but you already kind of had a hole in your pants, so.
Yeah, but going from like 1 centimeter to like 3 inches is bad wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, but her outfit was probably like custom made, brand new. I don't know.
Theoretically, it was supposed to rip off one part of the clothes and it ripped off multiple, but that's whether or not you believe it.
Nah.
I feel like they probably would have tested it beforehand.
Yeah, probably take it to like a rocket lab science and just like strap it on, behind a rocket,
Like it's a rocket powered suit.
Yeah. Yeah, yep, this thing is unrippable.
I don't know. Have you seen any of these Super Bowl things since then? I know the last one I thought was actually decent was the one with The Weeknd.
I mean, the Lady Gaga one was pretty good years back.
I watched last year's with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
That was actually pretty good.
That was pretty good. I liked that.
What I liked about it, 50 Cent was in there too.
Yeah.
I thought he was in prison, and I seen him. I'm like, oh.
Well, they were doing it because of that song that he did in the club or whatever. Because like at the beginning, like he was doing in the video, they kind of tried to copy that.
Yeah. So they had to have him.
I liked it.
Ozzy didn't do a very good job on his.
Ozzy's not even there.
Yeah. It's like all he did was did Crazy Train, and it was just people, the crowd was going wild, but that they were like, all right, this is getting old. This is
let's be honest, you can't understand shit that he says. Like,
yeah.
When they had that show on MTV, he's sitting there talking, you can't even understand. Yeah, you can't even understand what he's saying. But he did so much drugs.
No, it's because his British accent is so rough.
Oh, it is. No. It is not.
No,
he does have an accent, but I guarantee you that it was not that bad until somewhat. When I say somewhat recently, I'd say within my adult life.
It's bad. You can't.
As a teenager and above, you could probably go back and listen to him talking and stuff.
Well, you got to play on slow-mo, then you'll pick up what he's saying.
You shouldn't have to. People shouldn't slur their speech that much.
When was the
I feel like
Osbournes?
part of it's probably due to drugs, and part of it's due to
I think-
age and mental problems.
Was the Osbournes
because
90s?
of drugs. The mental is because of the drugs.
Was the Osbournes 90s the TV show, or was that 2000?
I don't know. Possibly late 90s.
I
or
don't.
I know-
I don't
2000s.
remember exactly when it hit. I can't remember, but I do know I watched a few. And
Well, I feel like so I feel like the kids were teenagers, like Kelly and Jack were teenagers, and they're about my age. So I'm gonna guess probably back early 2000s.
Yeah, because I remember
I know it
that
was-
show was actually funny to watch.
I know it was when I was in school still, so it had to be at least early 2000s or before that. But it wasn't past 2005.
I don't
'cause
think
had
it was
already
90s.
been.
No, when did Austin Powers come out? Was that 2000s?
I think the first one came out late 90s.
Okay, yeah, they're on the second one, so it was probably
Were they?
yeah. They were like when they shot that rocket up, and Ozzy was like, "Oh, this shit again."
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually kind of funny.
Is it one-
And I actually understood Ozzy about 50% of what he was saying, so
About 50%.
about
Probably 'cause it
50%.
was
Only half.
rehearsed.
Only half.
Yeah, it was
He
rehearsed
probably had to do it like
in
they
slow
probably had
mo.
to do the take like 50 times
In slow mo.
just to get
Half
it.
the fact that you can only understand half of it is a problem. He's got speech problems at this point.
Well, didn't he have some medical issues a couple years ago?
I think so, but
Well, he
honestly, I haven't been paying that much attention.
he has that.
since
He's in
then.
the age where he's gonna have health problems regardless. So
Well, no, like I thought
I have
something
health.
happened to him.
I have health problems, and I'm not even that old.
Well, no, I thought something happened to him. I can't.
It probably did. I haven't been paying that much attention to him.
yeah, I mean he's not very popular right now. So no one's like really paying attention to what's going on
So
with
it was
Ozzy.
funny because Post Malone did a song and had Ozzy in it. And you had all these teenagers or whatever. They're like, oh, this guy's great. Like, he's going to make him famous. And it's like,
He was
you don't
already
know who he is
famous.
beforehand? Like,
No, a lot of like
yeah, but I'm sure everybody's heard the song Crazy Train. They did a commercial where they were singing the Crazy Train.
yeah. A lot of people don't know things from the past.
Right, it's like me
Yeah.
listening, like my dad be like, "Oh, I remember this song back in like the '40s," because my dad used to play it all the time, and
Speaking
I'm
of
not
that,
gonna know it.
A lot of music is becoming remakes of old songs or using old songs. But there's that what is that rap song out there that's actually literally the beat to Blue, Dabba Dee Dabba Die. Like there's actually now a rap song.
No,
is-
that's Christina Aguilera and Pitbull. I
Is
want
it?
to feel this moment. Dun, 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 dun. Oh wait, no, that's
no. There's a new song out now that is literally note for note the exact same song.
Somebody did Staying Alive where they take part of the song and add it into it.
Wait, remember back in high school they did that Ozzy Osbourne Crazy Train, but it was a rap version with Lil Jon and it's like Let's Go.
Oh, Let's
yeah,
Go,
yeah,
Trick
Let's
Daddy.
Go.
Trick Daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
good.
the easiest way to make
Yeah,
a
people have
new
been doing that
song
for a
by just
while.
taking
Just-
one.
I feel like there's a sudden surge of it all of a sudden. Like there's been people. What's the term called? There's been people using samples and whatnot for a long time. I just feel like in the last couple of years, there's been a lot of it.
Well, it's easier to do it. You just
Yeah, you could do anything now. Drake made a song and he put Michael Jackson in it, singing like the chorus part of it after he was already dead.
Because I remember even Eminem did it back in the day with "Sing for the Moment."
now what song came out first? Oh shoot, what was that? He had his damn it, it's like Eminem was rapping, then there was this girl singer, right? And it was about him taking her into in his truck. Stan, was it Stan?
That's
Oh.
isn't that the one where he writes the letter to Eminem, the boy?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but then there was that girl singer.
it is literally Stan, and
Oh,
it's Ditto.
yeah.
So which one came out first? Her
They came out-
version
they
or
ca-
his version?
I felt like her version came
I-
out, but they came out at the same time.
But she
basically.
sang with him,
Yeah.
so I feel like
They came out around the same time. It wasn't like it was sampled from an earlier
So
song.
they made that
They
song
literally
together,
came out
basically.
around the same time.
Yeah, I feel like hers probably came out earlier.
But it wasn't that far off. It was from the same. It's not like, oh, we're pulling stuff from like the 80s or the 70s.
Eminem's kind of crazy. You don't want to mess with that.
I feel like a lot of people now that are involving him are doing it out of the sake of basically just hyping up, like just becoming famous or riding off of his success, because you know that if you make a track dissing Eminem, that he's going to make
ICP did it.
We actually just talked about this, me and Alex at work. So, MGK, he like said something about Eminem's daughter. So, and then like Eminem like destroyed him, came out with a track, destroyed him. And then The Game, he used to be a rapper, like, and I couldn't even tell you any songs that the Game sang, but he did an interview and he's like, yeah, everybody says Eminem's the greatest, and he's like, he's not. And then he made a diss track like toward Eminem, and it wasn't even good. And then he hasn't came out one. I haven't heard one yet from Eminem, but like Mariah Carey, she did that video Obsessed With Me, and she was trying to look like Eminem in the video. And then did you ever hear his diss track back to her?
Yeah.
He destroyed her. So it's like all these people that like.
But it keeps them relevant, or it brings up their relevance when they do that, because everybody knows Eminem, and then you become the limelight because he's talking about you.
But like MGK, like he was in the picture, so I don't even know why.
He went from being decently popular to being front page news as soon as it happened.
Eminem came out in the 90s.
Because honestly, I had only heard one song, and then all of a sudden he was like the talk after that.
I don't like him. He's weird. Like he just, the stuff that he does, like when he was with Megan Fox, they were like talking about drinking each other's blood and stuff.
Oh.
My thing though is something you just brought up, where people say that Eminem's not that good. A lot of people are like, oh well, he's only famous because he's white, and I'm like, if it was just because he's white, then Vanilla Ice would have been way more popular.
Yes. He
also, like, there are other white rappers out there that have been, come and gone. He's the only one that's lasted the time, and I think it's because of three things. It's because, yeah, he's a white dude so he's a little more popular, but it's also because he does controversial shit back in the day, and that made him infamous within families. And then lastly, he's just talented in general.
Yeah, but
who else do you know that can come up with that many songs?
What I was saying was
back
then, like ICP was trying to target Eminem too. So
yeah, they got destroyed.
They got destroyed.
I consider myself a fan, but even I know that ICP got destroyed. I'm sorry. There's no way to put that. Every time they had any diss track, he came back at them, and just with one freaking line, he could destroy them.
He was just that good. He was unstoppable.
He is good, and I can't name any white rappers other than like Vanilla Ice. Like, who else can you name? White rapper wise.
Not any, actually.
I can't even think of any.
There were a few in the early 2000s, but I can't remember their names.
Like,
they disappeared. That's what happened to them.
It's funny though. It's funny though because he did even touch upon this himself in both topics. One is the fact that he has a son that literally says that he knows that if he wasn't white, he'd only sold half. He literally put that in one of his lyrics. But the other one is the fact that he said, doesn't matter how many white rappers emerge, it'll still be so empty without him. He's actually touched upon both these topics in his own lyrics.
And plus, Eminem does have a sense of humor too. Like in the movie The Interview, when he came out like, I'm gay. And then they're like, what? Eminem's gay? And he was like, yeah, I thought you guys knew that from like some of my lyrics. And they're like, what?
I forgot about that until I watched the movie again.
See, he has a sense of humor. Then he did this little stunt with that Borat guy, or I can't remember his name. He's a comedian actor. What he did was he came from the ceiling, and then he planted his ass right in Eminem's face. And it was all staged. Where then his two other guys started like banging him against the chair or whatever. You guys gotta check it out.
I mean, everybody thinks that he's just this asshole that disses on people, but you got to realize people are not one dimensional. He can be funny, he can be mean, and he's usually mean to people who have come at him. That's usually the only time that he.
I mean, I feel like you have to act that way, or people are going to take advantage.
Yeah, probably, especially
Like,
growing up where he did. You have to have that meanness as a front, at the very least.
but like MGK thought that he could sit there and say stuff about his daughter.
No,
I mean, it's just common sense. You don't talk to anybody, especially his.
See, Eminem's a type of person, even though he's like a millionaire and everything, but he actually respects, others too. And he knows how to, entertain people, but then you get some other assholes, they don't give a fuck.
I know there is this one aspect, which is the fact that he doesn't like being approached when he's out. But at the same time, you got to consider, like, you're trying to live your life, especially when you're with your kid. You don't want people just constantly bombarding you.
But here's the thing, though. You're a celebrity. You're popular. And this goes for all celebrities. All celebrities. They throw a fit like, oh, I'm out with my family. But, you knew when you became famous that this was going to happen. Do I agree with it? No. Like, I feel like you should be able to go out with your kid or whatever. And I think, but you knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, you can
But you know what Eminem did, though? His daughter actually won prom queen. Or homecoming queen, something like that. I don't know what it was. But anyways, he watched all of it from a classroom. He didn't even go out there to like watch it in person because he didn't want the spotlight on him. So he stayed away from it, watched from a classroom while his daughter got crowned.
I mean, that's kind of a little sad though, but
it is sad. But
like
he kind of realizes
you can't be there for it, otherwise you become the attention.
Mm-hmm. And you know how the paparazzi is. You can look good one day, and then they can destroy you the next. So,
well, yeah, especially
paparazzi. Just
I can tell you, I don't always have the best looking days. I can't imagine celebrities do.
No, I mean they can like sit there and like trip over a step, and they're like, "Oh, this person was wasted," walking,
Oh, that twist.
Well, look what they did to like poor Britney Spears and stuff. Like how horrible they were with her. Like,
they tried to do it again too.
Yeah, they're trying to do it again.
Yeah,
now.
She went insane.
Well, no, that was her dad and her manager's fault.
Oh.
Like, I watched a documentary on it, and it's actually sad because, like, they were telling like how like she didn't want to do a tour, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do this tour or whatever," and then they started told her that she had to take this medication. It's interesting. You should watch it. It's on Hulu. It's interesting.
Well, once I get my internet back.
No, I didn't watch it.
I
know you told me to, but I didn't.
I'm surprised you did. You love Britney.
See, I like Britney too. Like I like Britney from.
I don't watch. I typically don't watch things like that though.
Because you don't want to know.
No, it's because I don't watch documentaries and stuff like that very often.
I listened to Britney the day she came out, and all the way to she stopped doing music and stuff. So well, I don't know, when I found out that she was getting overridden with paparazzi and stuff like that, that kind of pissed me off a little bit.
So she got her conservatorship taken away. Her dad has no control over her or whatever. And now it's like they're trying to say that she's crazy again. And I don't know what the story was, but her son must have sent this video to his dad that she's like yelling at her kids in the car. Something that every parent would do.
Yep.
And Kevin Federline gives it to TMZ to leak this video. And it's like, first off, like, Kevin Federline is just a piece of shit, if you want my opinion. Like, he's all about that money. But, like, she sounds like she's actually a good parent, and they're trying to make her like she's crazy.
I mean, you got your kids,
all the time.
Yeah. It's being a parent.
Yeah, if my kid's doing something bad, I'm going to get on him about it. Like, and they just try to make it seem like she was being a bad mom and all this other stuff. And
blackmailing.
Yeah. I mean, look at Princess Diana. She ended up dying because of paparazzi.
Yep. That was 90's too, wasn't it?
That was 90's.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that back in like 2nd grade or something. We used to get these like Time magazines, but they stopped handing them out. I don't know why, but they, maybe they don't want little kids reading news.
All right. I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I'm CRollur.
And I'm Willy McD.
I'm Nikki. Remember
so
when
don't
we
pick
didn't talk
up
that
the-
one day because you were being a titty baby? I could see you like texting on your
What is it
phone
with
like
you and
that.